here we go. Running
A lot of
Lucian.
Americans have been looking for a leader. I wonder how many people...
You want Smileless Blue? Want Smileless Blue? I'll give him a
Be right back.
They used to get away with it, but not anymore. Thanks to Rush and the EIB network.
Hi there, it's Lago. Join me tomorrow morning on News Radio 1360 KKTX.
If conservatives are going to win, we have to be aggressive, which is why I'm excited about something my friends at the Heritage Foundation are doing. They are not giving up on stopping Obamacare. In fact, they're taking the fight to one of the largest stages in America, and one where the state-run media can't miss it. Heritage has placed a 6-story billboard smack dab in Times Square in New York City. Tens of thousands of people pass it every day. Cannot miss the message in huge black letters. Obamacare may be hazardous to your health, is what it says.
Fiddle
You
is
can
such
see
a
the
twig.
ad at
Like,
joinheritage.org.
he dies so fast.
Folks, Heritage does not run from fights. They bring their A game to every battle, including this one. And here's what you should do. Join Heritage as they fight for these values. Get involved at joinheritage.org. I've supported Heritage for decades, and you should too. Visit joinheritage.org.
Hi, this is John Greenwood, the CEO of PowerSwaps, and I know how important a great smile is in business and with loved ones. Having a great smile will increase the odds that your loved ones will get closer to you, and in business that you'll impress that client. A recent study of 2,000 people said you can look up to 13 years younger if you have whiter teeth. If you want to erase yellow stained teeth in just 5 minutes a day, then try PowerSwaps. What makes PowerSwaps better is that it works on natural teeth and veneers. There's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. 5 minutes and you'll see an average of 2 shades of
Less
teeth.
HP
7
because
days,
she
6
didn't get a
shades.
door.
Call now and try it risk-free. Dial 1-800-663-0418. That's 1-800-663-0418. I guarantee your friends and coworkers will notice your new white smile. Get it risk-free. 1-800-663-0418. That's 1-800-663-0418.
The American Legion. We're a powerful force for the nation. We're the largest veteran service organization in America, with nearly 2.5 million members. And when you add to that the American Legion Auxiliary and the Sons of the American Legion, we have a family of 4 million members working hard every day for our veterans, our youth, and our families. You can find us in every state in the nation, working to support our men and women in uniform and their families. We offer many youth programs and scholarships to help our next generation of leaders learn the values and skills needed to succeed. And through our grants and foundations, we offer assistance to fellow veterans and their families in times of need. We raise millions of dollars and donate thousands of hours of time to causes all across the nation. We truly are a powerful force. Go to legion.org to find out more about the American Legion's commitment of service
Now
to
I got
America.
potions. That's right.
Americans are playing a dangerous game
Potion,
with the future of
potions.
citrus, and if we don't
First
stop,
blood's still worth
all
it,
of
though.
citrus could be wiped out. The game began when killer citrus diseases invaded our land. When you move a citrus plant, you could be spreading these diseases. Move a citrus plant, spread a disease, citrus plants die. It's that simple. No place is safe from these deadly invaders. One wrong move in this game, a citrus plant mailed to another state or a plant brought back from vacation could take out every orange tree, every lemon tree, every citrus tree.
Ugh.
Don't risk citrus.
Oh, man.
Don't move citrus or the invaders win. And it's
That would have
game
been
over.
horrible
for
for that.
citrus.
Great.
Citrus disease has already killed millions of citrus trees, and there is no cure. Find out the risks in your area and how you can help protect America's citrus at SaveOurCitrus.org. That's SaveOurCitrus.org. A message from the USDA.
The fake Twitter story. The fake 19.5 million Twitter followers is UK Daily Mail. And the 2 million fake Twitter followers is Obama from the Daily Caller. The reason this happens, Macintosh, the Mac OS has a Really great feature. It takes a website and strips everything out of the text. It's called Reader. But when you print it, for some reason eliminates the source, the byline and all. It takes everything out, just the story. And if whoever's doing it doesn't know that, then they don't include the source. I, of course, never make that mistake because I'm the tech leader here of this team. But no matter how many times I make this request, it seems that it's a tough one to learn. And it is a frustrating thing. Nevertheless, that aside, I just wanted to explain why. How can you look at something Russian and not know what the source is? Blame Apple. Everybody else knows. Now, Ted Cruz basically had Cruz crux. He had, in all of this 21 hours, he had a message. Had many messages. He synthesized it. Ted Cruz pointed out the fundamental, and there are many, fundamental flaws in this law that Washington seems eager to begin.
Ah, missed that chance to get it out.
And I just got a break here in 15 seconds. I'm sorry for the programming format what it is. We'll keep it right there. And another thing I want to address is this silly notion that this strategy is why Republicans lose elections. That is so wrong. So dangerously wrong, it needs to be commented on.
Kyle Davidson here, one of the money wise guys. There's lots of investment choices today, but what's right for you? And how much do you need to retire? Davidson Capital Management has been answering questions like these for over 20 years in South Texas. You know, some advisors are all about commissions, but with us, when your money succeeds, we succeed. Listen to us, the Money Wise Guys, Saturday at noon on the Money Wise Show on 1360 KKTX and 1360KKTX.com.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu.
The Senate will be in order.
And with that, time ran out for Republican Senator Ted Cruz, who spoke for more than 21 hours in a try to dismantle the president's health care law. Now the Senate moving on to a procedural vote to bring a bill to fund the government up for debate and amendments. In California, applause as Governor Jerry Brown signs a bill into law that raises the minimum wage there to a national high of $10 an hour by 2016. Current minimum is $8 an hour. The bill calls for an increase of $1 an hour next July. And an investigation continues into whether Westerners were among the attackers in a mall in Nairobi.
Kenyan authorities say at least one British person and a number of Americans were involved in a siege on a mall in the Kenyan capital Nairobi, which has left dozens of people dead.
Fox Radio signing off. Fox News. We report, you decide.
And now, the iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time Capsule.
In 1895, the first round-the-world trip by a woman on a bicycle takes place. It took 15 months, which is not so bad, because we all know how difficult it is to ride a bike across the ocean. In 1911, Cy Young beats Pittsburgh 1-0 for his final career victory, number 511. This week in sports history, in 1934, 2,500 fans see Babe Ruth's farewell Yankee appearance at Yankee Stadium. And in 1979, the 1984 Summer LA Olympic coverage rights are sold to ABC for $225 million, a mere pittance. This week in sports history, in 1984, San Francisco 49er Joe Montana misses his first start in 49 games. Of course, today, Joe keeps his incredible conditioning thanks to his Skechers shape-ups. And in 1992, the very first female to play in an NHL exhibition game, Manon Rhéaume, goalie for the Tampa Bay Lightning, gives up 2 goals on 9 attempts in 1 period.
That's your iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time Capsule.
Checking out the movies this weekend?
Here's your box office preview.
After a few weekends without much for the kids, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 storms into theaters, picking up the storyline from the end of the 2009 original. Bill Hader, Anna Faris, James Caan, and Will Forte lend their voices to this animated sci-fi comedy. Joseph Gordon-Levitt pulls a triple threat as writer, director, and star of Don John, playing a ladies' man who's challenged by a woman who's a hopeless romantic. Scarlett Johansson, Julianne Moore, Tony Danza, and Glenn Headley star in this romantic comedy drama. After a week in limited release, Rush opens nationwide. Based on a true story, director Ron Howard's period action drama is about two Formula One racers and rivals trying to defeat each other at the 1976 World Championship. Chris Hemsworth, Daniel Bull, and Olivia Wilde star. Also playing are last weekend's Top Dog Prisoners and Sidious Chapter 2, The Family and Battle of the Year. Plus, William Miller's Lee Daniels of Butler, Riddick, Planes, and Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters. And that's your weekend box office preview on iHeartRadio.
The girls have been arrested.
They shouldn't be able to get Gary Grant. He's just too much of a beast.
1360kkdx.com. Now, News Radio 1360 KKDX brings you the Rush Limbaugh Show.
Hi, welcome back to Rush Limbaugh, and a reminder, Senator Ted Cruz will continue speaking on Obamacare on this program in a half an hour, right at the beginning of the next hour, here at the EIB Network. You know, all we've heard from the drive-by media and the rest of the Beltway establishment is how the GOP needs to reach out. Right? GOP needs to reach out to other people. Needs to broaden its base. Well, Cruz have been reaching out like Ted Cruz has made a greater effort than anybody recently I can recall in the Republican Party. His grassroots effort, his petition to sign petition to defund Obamacare, and now his filibuster. Of course, this is not the kind of outreach the establishment is talking about. They need the kind of outreach that reaches out to Democratic voters by embracing those people. The Washington establishment right now wants. Cruz is having done up. Give you a couple quotes. There's an interesting phenomenon. It's quite interesting to point out. John Cornyn, another Republican senator from Texas, made a statement not all that long years ago. I'll read it to you verbatim. If Obamacare is allowed to stand, said Senator John Cornyn, if Obamacare is allowed to stand and Congress is allowed to make the purchase of government-endorsed health insurance compulsory, there will be no meaningful limit on Washington's reach into the lives of the American people. That's certainly not what the founders intended. So why wasn't Senator Cornyn up there? Senator Cruz. Because Senator Cruz was simply acting
Just another corpse.
on what Senator Cornyn had previously said. And then, and I can probably cite every other Republican senator the same way. Chris Wallace, once interviewing with Mitch McConnell, you don't think the 30 million people who are uninsured have issued? McConnell said, let me tell you what we're not going to do. We're not going to turn the American health care system into a Western European system. That's the Washington Post. So what happened? How is it that Senators Cornyn and McConnell sounded like Senator Cruz a few years ago? But now, no, did they not mean it? Were they just saying it because that's what they thought you, their voters, wanted to hear? Was it necessary to say that to get reelected? This embodies exactly what's happening. Tell the Republican base what you think it wants to hear, but then forget it. And especially if you're going. If the going gets tough, then you always can retreat and find solace and comfort in the establishment, where you'll be protected.
There's a chill.
As a preferred member. I'm sure Ted Cruz heard these guys say this. One of the reasons I think he wanted to go to the Senate was he thought it was made up of other Republicans like him.
You don't have that.
You think Ted Cruz thought when he got elected to the Senate he was going to be one of 3 or 4 who meant it? When they said they were opposed to Obamacare?
I'm sleeping.
I think one of the reasons, I'll ask him, one of the reasons he was excited to go there, he thought he was really going to be joining a bunch of people who weren't going to take this. Who meant it when they said,
Something is rotten here.
if Obamacare is allowed to stand and Congress is allowed to make the purchase of government-endorsed health insurance compulsory, there will be no meaningful limit on Washington's reach into the lives of Americans. By the way, Senator Cornyn, who said that was not in favor of this. So Senator Cruz heads to Washington finds out that he's one of 3 or 4 people in that Republican.
Some call it magic. I call it good aim.
And he could have said, well, I'll take the path of least resistance and throw in with it. But he didn't. And so now, ladies and gentlemen, there is this premise that doing what Ted Cruz did with his filibuster, his 21-hour speech. Note they don't want to call it a filibuster for some reason. At any rate, the premise is that because Cruz did what he did, and because Cruz has been doing what he's been doing, and because Cruz did the petition, because Cruz continues to run against Obama, because Cruz is doing what he's doing, the premise is we lose.
This is mercy. Ashes and dust.
I don't think that's true. I think that when they do, Republicans lose elections because they have continually dispirited their own base. Because they have, either intentionally or otherwise,
You don't have the heart.
de-energized their own base. And because people on our side, whether they be in the Republican Party or in the so-called media, refuse to call out Barack Obama to the extent that he should be called out.
Everybody deserves a second shot.
There isn't any criticism of Barack Obama. There isn't any explanation of who Barack Obama is. There isn't any teaching. There isn't any effort to make
I'll sleep.
the American people understand what it is the Democrat Party seeks for them. There's no pushback. That's why they lose elections. When they do, it's not just because of this. Now Ted Cruz is infuriating his fellow Republicans. They're very much worried that he's made them all look like fools. I don't understand that. How does that happen? Cruz did what he did by himself. Well, he had Rubio and Mike Lee. There's some others in there. But how does anybody else look so? This is the problem. Everybody's so concerned with what they look like. Everybody's so concerned with what people think of them. Obviously, Ted Cruz doesn't worry about it. Ted Cruz is fighting what the country is founded. It's no more complicated than that. He points out that the crux, the central part of Obamacare is falling apart. As a matter of business, as a matter of congressional legislation, it's a mistake to fully implement this thing because it's a disaster. Medicare cuts that are there to help pay for this have been delayed. The employer mandate has been delayed until 2015. The employer mandate was fundamental to making this work, in theory. The mandate that employees are provided coverage by their employer delayed. So now the employers can back out forever. Look at all the conversion of people who one time used to have careers. Now they're part-time workers. This is a disaster.
Something is rotten here.
It's totally worth opposing. But I'll tell you something else, folks. There has to be a time when you draw the line. This is it. You've got to draw the line. You've got to set down that marker. You have got to let the American people know where you stand and what you will not support. You have got to let the American voter, the American people who are on your side in this, the vast majority of American people oppose this. You've got to let them know where your line is. And that's what Ted Cruz has done here. The strategy is not about raising money. The strategy is not about winning elections in the short term. What this is about is the debate. This is taking this issue out of Washington, out of the halls of Congress, and taking it to the arena of ideas. This is about taking the crux of the matter, what is going to happen to the American people because of this bill, to them, and help them understand what is about to happen if this thing is fully implemented. It has to happen. This line has to be drawn. At some point, where everything you're fighting for is on the line, you've got to make a stand for it. And this idea, well, we can't do that now because we might lose in 2014 or we might lose in 2016. What are we doing now?
Second shot.
We're losing. We're losing against the most radically leftist administration in our lifetimes and maybe ever.
Go ahead.
And there's no excuse for it because the American people are not with this administration. The American people are opposed to it. They may not know that they're opposed to Obama, but they don't like what's happening. The big danger that is happening in this country is that people are losing faith in the country. They're losing faith in the idea that there is opportunity. They're losing faith in the old adage that hard work pays off. They're losing faith in all of the traditions that they have relied on. They don't see this as losing faith in Obama. They think, this guy doesn't understand the reason why they think Obama's fighting for them right along with everybody else. They don't understand that their loss of faith in the country is precisely because of the policies, including this healthcare of Obama. Ted Cruz is attempting to wake people up. He should be joined. Which he's also as an opposition party and as a party that is known for its devotion to limited government. There was this talk not long ago about Obama and the fact that he did or didn't, depending on the day, draw a red line for Bashar Assad. Remember that? We need a red line on Obama and his administration. Ted Cruz just drew it. Ted Cruz just drew the red line.
Some call it magic.
If the Republican Party cannot follow through on its promise to voters to oppose Obamacare, and they all did, Senator Cornyn, Senator McConnell, I can quote any number of these people, what they've said about Obama over the years. If they can't follow through now and oppose this, then what is the point of winning? Seriously.
Something is rotten here.
What's the point of winning if you're not even going to try to stop the most egregious, outrageous assault
I'll sleep
on the very traditions and institutions of this country. Let me see. Why do you even want to win? And the answer is they want to be in control of the money. Because it's apparently about that, not about ideas. Back up to it.
He's right. So many ways. Rush on the EIB network. Breaking news.
Always on demand at 1360kkdx.com.
You have to seek it out for yourself.
This is the biggest leak of classified information in history. You still want to tell me you think it's just a little website?
Entertainment Weekly raves the fifth estate is edgy and exciting. They're taking on presidents, kings, kingpins, and Rolling Stone calls it provocative. We need to crush these guys. There are lies over there.
This is information the world needs to know.
The Fifth Estate in theaters October 18th. Rated R. Under 17 and without parents.
Is the silver price about to double? I'm here with Kevin DeVarrett to comment.
Larry Silver is already You know there's only $4 worth of silver left per person. $4? That's right. Everyone wanted to own silver today. $4 is their limit.
Hard-filled retirement for that.
Yes, especially with cell phones, computers, and solar. 3 out of those $4 worth of silver to make their products, and that demand keeps growing.
Sounds like a supply challenge.
That's the fear. That's why experts like Eric Sprott said silver is ready to double. We have a special report on silver for Rush listeners. I recommend everyone read it.
Does Lear have silver?
For now, yes. We saw silver supply falling, and we made an advanced deal directly with the mint for our exclusive silver polar bear coin, but it's getting hard to keep up.
Do you still have a polar bear offer?
Yes. For a limited time with a qualifying purchase, investors can take advantage of our silver supply and get up to $400 worth of silver polar bears free.
Folks, if you want to protect your savings and retirement with silver, call Lear Capital now at 1-800-957-4653 to secure your share of silver polar bear coins and get up to $400 worth free. Call now and you'll also get the bonus report.
So apparently the relentless pursuit only comes back off the cooldown only during the ult. I kinda thought I might have been able to get away.
You're gonna need money down, sir.
No, not at Love. We have a plan and we need your car. Let Love Pre-Owned Auto Center's exclusive upside down payoff plan get you out now and you keep your cash. Love Pre-Owned Auto Center, 4401 SBID, is offering 18-minute appraisals, 18-minute approvals online or by phone. Let Love pay it off. Go to lovepreownedAutoCenter.com or call 991-LOVE for details.
Right of it. But being made out of insects and bugs, it's not easy. They call me invasive species, or hungry pests. You should think of me as a culinary tourist. People help me get around, mostly on the things they move and pack. I'd ask you to join me, but there's really only enough for me.
Invasive species threaten to devour Texas trees and crops. Leave hungry pests behind. Go to hungrypests.com. That's hungrypests.com. A message.
Since it came on the air, Fox News has been entirely, totally, thoroughly, excitedly, eagerly supported on this program, and people there defended countlessly and endlessly. And yet, I don't expect them to purchase. I don't expect to buy like-minded treatment. I really don't expect kind of, I don't even know how to characterize it. I mean, Rick Hume actually picked up some liberal talk. Monday night. Here's 18. Yeah, let's hit cut 4. I'm just going to set it up.
I'm not sure you'd say they're calling the shots, but make no mistake about it, Bill. Some of these radio talk show hosts have real influence. They have a huge following, particularly in very conservative areas where they're most popular, and where the many members of Congress who inhabit those areas are not worried about being reelected if they can get nominated, but they are worried about a primary challenge that could deny them the nomination. Go a long way to avoid it, and keeping radio talk show hosts off their back is one way of doing that.
I'm used to hearing. MSNBC.
Everybody deserves a
I'm
second shot.
also used to hearing that from Republican consultants, the architects of losing elections. So then O'Reilly followed up. Well, do you believe that if in Congress, if somebody has to run every 2 years, as they do, and they get on the wrong side of a powerful radio,
Greedy.
The previous question I didn't read. They can really do them bad damage. These radio guys, this powerful radio voice, going to do bad damage if they promote the other side.
If you're sitting over in the House of Representatives and some measure to defund Obamacare comes along, and you think it's a suicide mission because it might involve a government shutdown, you're going to be hesitant to oppose it anyway, because you don't want the most conservative, you don't want the Tea Party, and you don't want the conservative radio talk show hosts on your back.
So, once again, Fox News has now fallen in with this idea.
Some call it magic.
That Republican elected officials are afraid. Note that they are apparently not afraid of Fox News. Whatever that means.
On the EIB network.
Hi there, this is Jim Lockwood, and you're listening to News Radio 1360 KKTX.
Hi, I'm Daniel Yancey. I want to thank everyone who's been buying my meatballs and sauce. Now, those of you who haven't tried them yet, you're probably thinking yours are better. Well, it takes me hours to make mine, just like you. I use all natural ingredients, just like you. And I use the recipe my grandmother taught me when I was just a little kid. So instead of spending hours in the kitchen making yours, go to MamaMancini's.com, find a supermarket near you, and pick up some Mama Mancini. Mama Mancini's, the meatball lovers meatball. Available at your local supermarket.
Do you have a family member who's getting older and can no longer be safely left alone? Get to know Visiting Angels, America's choice in senior home care. Visiting Angels assists adults nationwide to continue living at home and avoid moving into a nursing home. Experienced, compassionate caregivers provide assistance in hygiene, meals, and light housework. Services provided up to 24 hours a day at affordable rates, and you may select your caregiver before service begins. For senior home care you can trust, check out visitingangels.com. Franchise opportunities available. Visitingangels.com.
Hello, I'm Aaron, a student at Hillsdale College. Here's Hillsdale President Larry Hahn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century so long ago. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 9, Section 1 of the Constitution. But is that outdated? The purpose of that injunction is to prevent the partisan bestowal of special privileges by the government, which privileges strike at the heart of a free society which is based on the rule of law. Look at crony capitalism today, so common, whereby the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses, and it gives them a leg up over others. This is a striking example of what the Constitution was meant to prohibit, and a striking illustration of why the Constitution is not outdated at all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
September 19th, television comes to Texas.
This week in Texas history, brought to you by News Radio 1360 KKTX in the Save Texas History program at the Donor Land Office.
September 27th, 1948, Fort Worth. After an initial broadcast with a speech by President Truman, WBAP is officially on the air. The first television station in Texas, WBAP is owned by wealthy businessman Amon G. Carter, who started the first radio station in the city in 1922. Yet the first night of programming doesn't go well. A power outage interrupts the signal for 17 minutes, and the owner almost falls to his death through a hole in the studio floor. Carter and the station both survived. WBAP changed names and owners, but it was the first of over 100 TV stations in Texas. Television came to Texas 65 years ago this week in Texas history.
Learn more at savetexashistory.org or call 800-998-4GLO.
beginning of the next hour. As I originally thought, there is a Senate vote at 1 o'clock in mere moments. As soon as that vote is over, Senator Cruz will find his way to the nearest telephone, landline, and it won't be right at the beginning of the next hour, but as soon as that Senate vote is over. In the meantime, we got lots of other things that we can do while we wait, so don't go away.
This is the Wall Street Journal report. I'm Marcelo. Treasury Secretary Jacob Lew is calling on Congress to raise the nation's borrowing limit immediately to prevent the country from falling behind on its bills. The government hit the debt ceiling back in May, and it's been using emergency measures like delaying payments in order to keep from defaulting. Lew says those emergency measures will be exhausted by October 17th. Orders for long-lasting manufactured goods inched higher last month, up 0.1%. A sign consumers and businesses are holding back on big purchases because of slow economic growth and uncertain financial outlook. Andy Brooks of T. Rowe Price in Baltimore blames Washington.
What the market hates uncertainty, and corporate leaders hate uncertainty. So if you're trying to hire people or build a new plant, roll out a new product line, you want to know what things are going to cost you, and you want to have an idea about what the future's going to bring.
The Dow Jones Industrials are down 12 points at 15,322. The Nasdaq is up 10 points. This is the Wall Street Journal report.
On air, online, and on demand at 1360kkdx.com.
Fox News Radio. I'm Chris Foster. 21 hours, 19 minutes is how long Texas Republican Ted Cruz held the Senate floor trying to delay a vote on a spending bill that's happening now regardless. Here's Fox News Radio's Rich Johnson on Capitol Hill.
Well, now that Cruz has finished, his Republican colleagues McConnell have continued to make his point.
Obamacare is wrong for America and needs to be repealed.
But Democratic leader Harry Reid says defunding Obamacare through the bill to pay for the government passed Monday is a huge waste of time.
Every hour spoken, pushes another hour into Republican government shutdown.
Reid says he still hopes to get an amended continuing resolution to the House as soon as possible, but it could be Sunday before that happens, Chris.
Rich, depends on where you live, but a Health and Human Services report says the care plan will be expected due to increased competition. At the White House, Fox News Radio's Mike Makowitz.
An average of 53 health plans to choose from and premiums 16% lower than previously anticipated. That's what HHS Secretary Kathleen Sebelius says folks in the exchanges can expect.
More choice and more competition thanks to the marketplace.
But Dr. John Barrasso, the Republican senator from Wyoming, says in his state Obamacare doesn't
In Wyoming, a 27-year-old is under the exchange program paying 3 times as much as they paid before.
And Dr. Barrasso,
especially with the good Leona.
Up in the
Back
exchanges, says